This conference will now be recorded.
Let's call this November 10th, 2020 meeting to order. We've got the minutes from our last meeting, October the 6th, 2020 before us. Are there any additions or subtractions to them?
I make a motion to be approved as presented.
I got a motion by Commissioner Glover to approve as presented. A second by Commissioner Bowens. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, I'm sorry, I did not take roll first. So let's do that now. Commissioner Wade?
Here.
Commissioner Bowens?
Here.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Here.
Commissioner Glover?
Here.
And the chair's here, so I see that we got a quorum. The minute's been approved. Just let me know when you're ready, Jody. Ready? First thing on the agenda tonight is a balanced budget amendment number 18 for $26,275 to microfilm multiple permanent records for the Archives Department.
Miss Jalen Grogan, she is here. Basically, she's given an explanation about needing to microfilm, do some catch up on some microfilm and some permanent records. And these funds come out of the actual archive management fee. Can't remember how much we said was in there, Jalen. Is it 80?
Yeah.
She's got a lot of money there. So this will get her caught up and back on track. So it's a balanced budget amendment.
Very good.
I move for approval.
Got a motion by Glover, second by Stubblefield. Any more discussions or questions? Ready to vote? Commissioner Glover?
Here. Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. The ayes have it. Next thing on the agenda is balance of budget amendment number 19 for $925 to purchase a computer as required to operate the JAVS recording equipment. Judge Joe Perry?
As for a computer that's 8 or 10-year-old computer, it's about crapped out on us. In fact, it went out yesterday and Chet put it back together with, I guess, duct tape and baling wire. This is for a computer in the General Sessions courtroom that's required in order to record preliminary hearings. So the money comes out of the court technology fund that the clerk has. So. Should approve.
All right. I'll make a motion we approve.
I got a motion by Bowens. Second.
Second.
I got a second by Glover. Any more discussions or questions? Ready to vote? Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, so the 5 ayes have it. Thank you, Judge
Thank you.
Perry. Number 3 on the agenda is a balanced budget amendment number 20 for updated phone security system for all county elevators. This is required for COVID-19, as I see that.
There's overtime on there to accommodate some extra tasks. That one's definitely on for COVID.
And I'm assuming this is balanced,
Yeah.
seeing how it's COVID related.
With Joe being out, I told him I could present it. Again, basically, it's balanced. The $3,000 that they're needing to update their elevators. We have funds coming in from the workers' comp refund from last year. So I made it balanced by putting $3,000 in there and $3,000 in the other. You'll see there's a revenue line item 47302 for $22,536. Actually, the county has already received in $1,065,160. So this is basically going to cover that.
Very good. Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Stubblefield,
Second.
and I got a second by Commissioner Glover. Any more questions or discussions?
Question.
Ready to vote? Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, so the 5 ayes have it. Moving right along. Number 4 on the agenda is a balanced budget amendment number 21 for $20,538 for the elections department needed due to COVID-19. This is a CARES grant reimbursement.
Okay, this is, Miss Kathy, she's out today, and I told her I would take care of this. Actually, this is a separate budget, grant that she's getting for elections CARES grant. I believe the total amount on this one was pretty close to $60,000. On this particular one, I helped her gather up all the information, make all the copies, and I sent it off to the state. She's already paid for all this, and now we're requesting the $20,538 back, and I believe she will still be able to get around $35,000. I can't remember the numbers, because some of it that she got, the state's buying directly and then taking it away from the grant. But basically, she spent it, and she's going to be getting it back.
All right, I move that we approve budget amendment number 21.
I've got a motion to approve by Commissioner Glover, and I got a second by Commissioner Bowens. Any more questions or discussions? Ready to vote? Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens? Chair votes aye, so the 5 ayes have it. All right. Number 5 on our agenda is a balanced budget amendment number 22, and that's the annual highway safety grant, and balanced budget amendment number 23 for the camera surveillance system for the jail. Sheriff, discuss this.
Yeah, our Tennessee Highway Safety Office grant, that's the one we get every year. Most of that's for DUI and traffic enforcement overtime. A little bit of money in there for some supplies such as traffic beds, traffic cones, things like that. Our normal annual grant we get. And then the other one, if you remember last year, we received that $250,000 technology grant from our inmate home system. That was moved over into a reserve fund. We have put that out to bid. Need that money transferred over so we can do the purchase.
Pulling that out of reserve?
Fees come back.
Sure.
Next couple weeks. There are two items, since we have so many commissioners in here, I'd like to kind of put on your radar. One, I'm sure most of y'all are aware of the hospital talks for TriStar taking over Northcrest. That affects the sheriff's office in a couple ways. We have a lot of inmates that get transferred to the hospital. We have agreements in place, you know, what portion of those bills we pay and things like that. So I'm hoping during this process, we're able to maintain our same agreements, our cost on inmate medical down where it needs to be. That's one concern. The other concern is, as most of you are aware, most of our employees in the county do not have TriStar health insurance coverage. That's an up plan, and so we can make sure these things go forward. Our employees are taken care of local. Their insurance will work at the local hospital. So
Sure. When you negotiate the prisoner hospitalizations and monies, are you dealing locally with someone? I mean, are you dealing with Randy Davis? Or who
yeah, there's Major Crawford has worked with Randy and their CFO out there in years past to come up with a group.
And we don't know who would be working with. I'm sure somebody corporate.
Don't know yet. I guess it depends how much they take over the hospital as far as it's a full buyout or partial, whatever. They end up working out in the next few months. Just a couple concerns to throw on the radar out there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I see them too.
The other one is employees right now. Back at the beginning of the year, I told you, we received more applications. It seemed like quality people coming to work. I think I only had maybe 4 openings, which is the most we've had in quite a while. That trend has gone away. As of year to date, compared to 2019, I'm down 45% in applications received. That's just received applications. October this year compared to last year, I had about 63 applications last year, October. This year I had 20. Of course, that's not people that actually make it through the hiring process. Our numbers are up to 15 openings right now, 12 in corrections, 3 on patrol. So you're not trending in the right direction. Of course, I'm sure everyone in here knows why, but it's hitting us kind of hard. So just throw that out there and keep that on your radar also. Appreciate you.
Thank you. I need a motion for budget amendment number 22 and 23, or we can do them separate.
Make a motion, we do it together.
I've got a motion to approve budget amendment number 22 and number 23 by Commissioner Stubblefield,
Second.
and I got a second by Commissioner Glover. Any more questions or discussion? Ready to vote? Commissioner Stubblefield,
Aye.
Commissioner Wade, Commissioner Bowens, Commissioner Glover.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, so the 5 ayes have it. It passes. Number 6 on our agenda is budget amendment number 24 for the school system. Dr. Causey?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I present to you tonight a budget amendment. Notice I didn't say a balanced budget amendment, but if you're going to have one, this is the one to have. If you remember, we did pass our budget a couple months early over the summer. Since then, our BEP money has been finalized, and it was greater than what we had budgeted. Our Safe Schools grant came in, and which last year it actually came in before we had our budget approved, so it wasn't a big deal. And then also some of our federal money came in for our special ed department. Because of that, if you look at it, we actually ended up with a total fund balance amendment of $309,330 to the good there. So it did pass last night, the Board of Education unanimously 6-0.
Very good, thank you. Any questions or comments for Dr. Causey? Ready to vote?
Move to approve.
I got a motion to approve by Commissioner Wade. Do I have a second?
Second.
Got a second by Commissioner Glover. Any questions, discussion? Ready to vote? Commissioner Wade? Commissioner Bowens? Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, so the 5 ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Causey. And number 7 on our agenda is I'm going to turn this over to Jody. She's been involved in this very heavily, but this is the Cumberland Electric Membership Corporation franchise agreement.
Okay. Basically, this is where Cumberland Electric has, I guess, another company called Cumberland Connect that they're connected to, and they're going to be doing internet broadband, or they're making it available to the citizens. So therefore, it's legally, or a law is required that the county commission has to pass a franchise agreement. We actually have franchise agreements already in place where we receive monies from, I believe it's Comcast, Charter, and AT&T. And this gentleman from Cumberland Electric, I think his name is Mr. Thomas Talley, he explained that now they have these franchise agreements through statewide contract. So when I went back to look at these other franchise agreements, they're not updated, but the reason why they're not updated is because they're going by what's on the statewide contract, and everybody pays 5% at this point. Understanding. They sent this directly to Clyde Richard's office.
I was going to ask that. So this Clyde has looked over this. And
He's looked over it. He knows if you guys approve this, he's going to have to get a resolution that'll have to, be part of this agreement. The agreement will have to be attachment to that resolution.
Did he approve this agreement?
Yes.
All right. I make a motion that we approve EMC Cumberland Connect franchise agreement.
I've got a motion to approve the franchise agreement by Commissioner Glover, and I got a second by Commissioner Bowens. Any more questions or discussions? Ready to vote? Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
The chair votes aye, so the 5 ayes have it. Next on the agenda, Jody, I'm going to turn that over to you to inform the committee.
Okay, basically, this is where the state came up with the coronavirus relief fund. The allocation to the county was based on population. It was $1,065,180. We submitted everything we had and it was off by $20. But that being said, when we initially went to these meetings, it appeared we were only gonna get around $200,000. They were making it kind of difficult to come up with the different paperwork and copies, and whenever anybody went on an EMS call, they had to prove that the people had COVID. Well, just about a month ago, the state said they got a ruling from the federal government that they took all those restrictions off. You even couldn't have the money in the budget. So basically, worked with Amanda Porter. She'd been doing the TEMA grant, and we were able to submit all of EMS frontline payroll through the end of, I think she did this in September or the first pay in October. So we received the $1,065,160, and we found out there's some other counties didn't stick with the program, and there's some that did not go through with this, so there may be some additional funding. We've also submitted an additional, I think, 900,000. I don't know if we will receive any of that, 948,000. It'll just depend on what other counties didn't do. If they didn't apply for all theirs and there's funding left over, then I don't know how they divvy it up, but we figured we'd ask for it. And I do have where EMS has spent money on COVID, and sheriff and county clerk. So I know I'm gonna need to do some budget amendments similar to the one that we did tonight for Joe. I'm hoping it won't be, too much more than $300,000, but just wanted to give you a heads up. We'll probably try to do those mid-year, so probably January.
Well, my hat's off to you and who was helping you do this?
Amanda
Amanda
Porter,
Porter.
assistant.
It's absolutely amazing the funds we've had come in because we've went after them. So great job to you and Amanda. Yeah, thoroughly appreciate it.
Mr. Chairman, who do we deal with, Jody, at the state? What department is it?
It's through a Tin Cams, and they've turned it on to a company called Horn, HORNE LLP. And we've noticed that we got all the funding on the first amount of money. It came in relatively quickly within a couple of weeks. But on this second request we sent, she's got a different representative. I'm not sure the person's name. It's from Horn. It's not the same representative we had that did the first $1,065,000.
So do you think it's a third party that the state going to deal with to divvy up the money?
It's definitely a third party because they were doing
That's what I wanted.
these weekly Zoom meetings, telling us all about it. And they were on a Zoom meeting at the same time. I was in had a 2-day conference with the state comptroller. And the next Thursday, I think his name is Nervert, can't pronounce it exactly, but he came on and announced it too. And everybody was very concerned, like, wow, okay, we get this money. We've already spent it. So everybody kind of, had all kinds of questions they asked and said, so you're sure we get this? Yes. Well, we've already spent it. So it's kind of the effect that we spent it, we were able to afford it, and now we can, use this money for something else. But I really think it should all be used for COVID because we don't know how long it's going to last, even if we have to, earmark it for COVID.
Thank you.
All you have on that one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, the last thing I've got on the agenda on our agenda, we do have other things to discuss, but last month we discussed the adequate facility tax increase. And I think we've got some in our packet here that tells us what other counties are doing around us. And from the looks of it, we're right on pace of what everyone else is doing other than Wilson. Wilson has just got a flat $5,000 permit fee. But it looks like Williamson's $1 a square foot. Sumner is 70 cents, but they're on gross square foot, so that'd be the total structure. We had discussed going up on residential and commercial. Talked to Doug Van, and he is totally against us going up on commercials, afraid that it would possibly hurt the commercial side of it, and he may have a point, you know. So I'm just open for discussion and bringing it up tonight so we can discuss it.
Are you open for a motion?
I mean, I'll entertain whatever this committee wants to bring to me.
Well, I want to make a motion that we take the residential to $1.25 and the commercial to 50 cents. That's what I would propose.
My biggest fear with commercial, that's a 40% increase on commercial. At the time Lowe's came, do you think they'd pay 40% more for their permit?
I think they would. I don't think we ought to cut ourselves short on it. I think we ought to. What's the highest commercial's ever been?
I can't answer that. I'm looking at what commercial is around us, and I'm saying like 40 cents for now, and that is 40 cents gross square footage for Sumner. And I'm not sure how ours work on commercial.
Ours is 40 cents per square foot. Same deal. Ours is 30 cents. You're right.
Yeah, as to where our dwellings are just heated, cooled space, living space.
The thing is, the way I look at it is that, one of the things I wanted to ask, I thought commercial was higher, and y'all lowered it.
It wasn't lowered since I've been a commissioner that I'm aware of. No, we did. We definitely did residential.
We did residential.
Billy, I was thinking about 10, 15, 12 years ago, it was higher than this. I haven't gone back to look, but that's what I was thinking. You know, I just think that the commercial can pay more. I don't want to put it all on the residential contractors.
I want the mayor to comment, then I'm going to go down the list and tell you what other counties are around us on commercial. You got anything for us, Mayor?
My knowledge, I've been here since '98. I can't never remember us lowering commercial or raising it. Really, I can't recall it.
So Dixon County is.
I just probably misunderstood it there, or missing out on what my memory's getting a little difficult on this. A lot of stuff that goes back that far. So I was thinking we were higher on the commercial at one time. I'll go back and look. If we're not going to make a decision tonight, I just want to put something out there so people can start thinking about $1.
Sure. Yeah, we don't have to move on anything tonight, but Dixon County's 25 cents a square foot. Let's see, we've got Sumner at 40 cents a square foot. We've got Williamson at 34 cents a square foot. And I don't see anything here on Montgomery. But a lot of the Marshall counties, Monterey County, both 30 cents a square foot. Fayette and Hickman are both 25 cents a square foot. So, I mean, I think we're in the ballpark.
Commissioner Hooper, when this was discussed about Lowe's, Margot was very much involved with that situation, and I talked to her about it. I don't know that Lowe's would have been here. They had two other sites. I think Birmingham was one, Louisville was one. I do believe that the commercial rate that we're speaking of right now is one of the major factors to get them here. So we'll compare that to what's been done in the past. That's true. I've been here going on 7 years. I haven't seen it. We tossed it around the last two times, just like we're doing tonight. I just hate to rob Peter to pay Paul in this situation. Now, another comment, if you would let me. I see the facility tax being a good portion of our income, but a small portion. And I see it's right now ahead of the game that we were last year and the year before. I hate to go to the taxpayer and say, oh, by the way, we're doing really well, but we're gonna tax you if you build a new house or bring new industry in, we're gonna tax you even more. I know we need to strike when the iron is hot, but I don't think that iron is hot enough right now. I think we can encourage other commercials and other buildings to come in.
I'm not going out to the commercial side. I see the growth happening in my area. And I see that this county is going to be required to build schools because of that. And you say that striking while the iron's hot. Well, I'm not striking while the iron's hot. I just want a new house to help build that school and not raise property tax, because the money's coming from somewhere, out of the county coffers.
But
And
the amount of money that they're receiving, the $1,200-$1,300, when it's taking a little over $8,000 a year with bricks and mortar and everything, and with some of the new administration in going to do away with, they want to do away with public schools and go charter schools in the structure, we may see a change in our school systems in the future. And we're planning the future from here on out. But I'd hate to see us have to tap into that a little bit deeper with things are looking pretty decent right now, okay, with the previous administration, if it's a previous administration. The tax structures have been better for us. I made more money this year because of it. And if that's the case, I would like that to get a rolling start. So I'd hate to see us advance either one of these taxes at the moment because of where we're sitting. I see buildings around me. I got a house going in across the way from me.
yeah, the comments you made about you made more money this year, I don't think the taxpayer wants to hear that. They don't care what you made. I
Well, I'm
think,
talking about me as a public,
right,
not me personally.
okay, well, that's, okay, I'm glad you clarified.
Because I
Because
think we're all in better shape as far as the overall totality. We got people out of
Oh,
work.
I don't think we're in better shape at all. I'm a professional landlord and I see people struggling every day.
Yeah.
Things are bad.
Yeah.
So if you think they're good, then you and I disagree on that point. So all I'm wanting to do is the people that are moving to this community to help pay for a school. Now, we can do it in property tax. We're gonna do it one way or the other. We're gonna pay for that school one way or the other, or we just won't build it.
But
And
this
we'll
is
put
one-time
portables everywhere.
tax, is all it is. right?
You're exactly right, it is. But it's a small, a quarter, if we went to $1.25, it's 25% increase, whatever that is. A little more than that, but we don't have to do it, and as a matter of fact, we're probably in line with what other counties are doing, so I'm fine with not doing it. Just know down the pike, we're gonna be raising property tax, and I'm just doing everything I can to keep from doing that.
I was told this one particular tax was the throttle to bring people in or slow it down. That's all it is. The amount of funding that we're getting, the few $1 billion that we're getting,
Right.
with the totality of the budget, all it's gonna be is that faucet.
It's if going up a quarter will barely bring us in a penny and a half.
Yeah.
So it's not much.
I'd like to say something.
Absolutely.
The way I look at the adequate facilities tax, it tells the taxpayers of Robertson County that the folks that are creating the pressure on our infrastructure, we're asking them to help participate on the front end. Look at how many houses are being proposed around the county right now. And I think we need, I think before the end of this year, if we don't decide tonight, I will be pushing in December for a vote on the adequate facilities tax going up. I figure 25 cents ain't that bad a deal when you're talking about some of the number of homes that are being built and the pressure that's being put on our school system in the future with all these homes and on the rest of the infrastructure of this county. So I'm for doing $1.25 on residential. I'll give a little bit on the commercial, but I still think you ought to at least go up a dime on commercial. I won't 50 cents, but I want the taxpayers to see we're asking for it from both commercial and residential. And I want the residential contractors to realize we're asking something from the commercial. I don't see where it's any problem. I believe it'll come no matter what we've done. I can assure you though, when I was on the commission last time, we raised it and we didn't have a bit of a slack.
Yeah. Commissioner Eads got a comment.
Yeah, I would just add to that, in my 10 or 11 years of personal involvement, when we set our residential rate as high as it was a few years ago. And then we lowered it during the recession. I'm convinced lowering it didn't build us one house. And all along, my thought has always been for people to look anybody in the eye and tell them, we need to collect your fair share for these schools. Never in my thinking was I thinking about discouraging commercial development. Commercial is so different than residential. Commercial actually brings jobs. So I wouldn't want to raise commercial at all, but I really think that the residential builders should pay a little more for their fair share. You know, some people think we ought to take it back to where it was. That might be a jump. I don't know if it would stop one house from being built or not. You know, we all of those of us who've lived up here for years think it's great. But what's great about it is you can go to that exit right over there in Pleasant View, or that exit in White House, or that exit Cross Plains, and be downtown at the airport in about 30 minutes on a good day. That's what we got going for us.
Exactly right.
That's why the houses are being built.
On raising adequate facilities tax, I know that it's a one-time thing. Are we looking at it that if we do, that there's a good possibility that we may not have to raise property taxes this year? I mean, I would hate to see us do that and have to raise property taxes. One thing I can say with the adequate facilities tax, it's a one-time fee. If you raise your property taxes, you see it every year.
I do not foresee a property tax happening this year, but I can't go on record not knowing what COVID has done.
And we don't know how many houses are going to be built either, you know.
I know we're going to have schools coming in the pipeline because I see them built. I see these massive home builders from other areas of the country come into White House, and they're putting up subdivisions faster than our schools can handle. And we're going to have portables everywhere. And if that's what this county wants to be, and we set portables around these schools and say the heck with it, then that's what we'll be. Or we can build the proper schools that we're going to have to do. And it's not going to be just White House. We've got Greenbrier's boom. It's happening everywhere in Robertson County because we're the bedroom community in Nashville.
And I just think that the adequate facilities tax is one time. It's kind of pay it and you're done with it. I'd hate to see the property tax on the back and start being raised, you know, and then that's something you keep seeing.
You pay it, if I could add one more thing.
Absolutely.
He's exactly right. You do pay it one time, every time you build a new house.
Right.
It's not like once in a lifetime. Somebody might buy 10 new houses, but to have that going for us and look anybody in the eye and tell them we need you to pay your fair share, and then we got everything else to offer to you.
That's what I said, but I think we need to raise it.
I mean, I think it's past due. We took it from $2 to 70 cents, which was ridiculous to do. I think $2 was too high,
Yeah.
but I think $1 is too low. And I'm not certain $1.25 is too low, but we've got to find a meeting place somewhere. And if this generates an extra penny and a half or 2 pennies, and we can hold on to that money for a couple of years, then maybe we don't have to raise property tax for a couple of years. I don't know. I don't know where we're at, but I know one thing. I want to find other revenues other than raising property taxes.
Well, there's another thing about it. Building material is going up all the time.
It is.
And people are still building houses.
Yep.
Right? If you still build houses, well, you pay an increase in facility tax.
I agree.
Because it's a one-time payment.
Yeah.
I agree. I have always been an advocate for raising the commercial part. However, looking at these figures, I'm seeing that we're right in line with every other county. And if we go much above what these are, then I think we're going to lose commercial business that we need in this county. However, I am for raising the residential, and I would advocate $1.50 even, because and I don't think it's going to stop a single house from being built.
It won't.
But when we start looking at borrowing money to build schools, and the property tax owners cannot continue paying, shouldering all of the load. Okay. There are less property owners in this county than there are renters, but the renters are the ones bringing most of the children in, and so I think that's a good way to raise some extra funds.
Well, I definitely think that it'll help tremendously down the road. Yeah, absolutely.
If we're talking schools, that is gonna be a big pressure. But the other pressure is your courts, and you've seen it already.
And more officers on the roads.
More officers on the road, eventually that goes into jail space, and all those types of things. We're already in need of some court space.
Yes, Commissioner Wade.
My motion didn't get a second, so I guess it's dead.
It is dead. Yes, sir.
Okay, and you want to put this off to next month?
Well, I don't know if we need to or not. I know planning and zoning would like to, if we're going to do anything, to get this done by January 1, because they've got to go through the state and have some things changed. So I don't know if we do this in December, will that be enough time? If not, we could just enact it February 1. So,
Make a motion to leave commercial as is and go $1.50 on residential.
absolutely, if you want to make that motion.
I'm second.
I've got a motion to go $1.50 on residential and leaving commercial as is, and I've got a second by Commissioner Bowens. Any discussion? Dennis, I see you.
I disagree with leaving commercial, not raising commercial. I don't think it'll make one bit of difference on how many businesses come in here. I'm not interested in going too much over. I'm not going over 50 cents I suggested, but I think it's wrong not to raise the commercial, and I don't think it'll make a bit of difference to anybody. That's my 2 cents from what I'm.
The only thing that worries me is we've got Sumner County sitting at 40 cents, and then we've got other counties around us 34 cents and 30 cents, and I don't know. Mayor Vogel, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You didn't cut me off. When you, the growth they're talking about in Middle Tennessee, and I'm talking about all the counties. I mean, Williamson County's looking at 180% in 20 years. They talk about 60% all around Middle Tennessee that joins Nashville. I don't think you're gonna hurt yourself on residential. And then when them houses keep coming, the businesses are gonna fall.
That's right.
And you can come back later and put it on commercial, and hey, it don't matter. If there's all these new houses here, the commercial part's gonna fall. And what are we in industrial? I mean, I don't want to raise industrial, but what's it, 30 cents or something?
I've got, we're 30 cents on commercial and industrial.
Okay, because industrial is what I want to see come in here, and
35.
it's. But hey, I think you got plenty of time to raise commercial when all these houses get built, because the stores are going to fall.
I agree. Well, I've got a question's been called for. Ready to vote? Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Commissioner Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, so the 5 has it. 5 ayes have it. It's take to the commission $1.50 a square foot for residential. All right. That's all I have on the agenda as far as those, but I do have some other business to bring up. And one is, in discussing with Chet, in order to have our county commission meeting over at the juvenile courtroom, he's having to move this and our camera out of here. And there's also something called Roll Call Pro that you can download an app. It's very safe and secure. There's a VPN. He knows more about it than I do. But we can do all this for probably around $10,000 or $11,000 to get a new one of these called go to room setups, a new camera for over there. And then that'll also give us the ability, if you want to stay at home, you can vote instead of having to do roll call vote. And probably around $11,000, but I'm going to ask this committee to approve $15,000 tonight to give Chet the authority to go out and buy the technology needed. He won't be able to do it before this meeting, so this will have to be moved, but maybe he can bring the new stuff in here and leave it, and we'll have that over there. But, we've got to run this like a county, not like we're moving our DVD player from bedroom to bedroom. And that's, we're talking about probably 11,000, but I'm going to ask for 15 in case he runs into an issue or needs another TV or something. So
I'll second the motion.
got a motion and a second.
Keith,
Yes, sir.
I got a question.
All right.
I like the idea. I like about the idea of moving the equipment, putting new equipment over there to do it. You say we'll be able to do a roll call, whether we're at the from our computers at our homes.
Yes, that is what I was told today. As a matter of fact, I was showed the app by Chet Biggers, our IT director, and it'll be, and it's very secure. He knows more about that than me, but he said you'll connect to a VPN, and it'll link us in, and then you'll be able to vote yes or no, and that way Angie won't have to go through the roll, and then you get to someone that doesn't answer, and this will streamline things for the future, because this is going to be our future for a while.
I agree. And why don't we just pull this money right out of some of this COVID-19 money that's coming in?
That's exactly what we're going to use. We're going to pull it out of that.
This is definitely a COVID-19 expense.
Absolutely. Mayor?
We can't hear you, Mayor.
You're muted, Mayor.
Hey, I met with Angie and Chet this morning because of the phone calls I'm getting about moving the meeting. And I do want to be in the big courtroom, and we need to be fixed up because, I mean, we got two zoning things coming up Monday night, and the conference room just ain't gonna get it.
I agree.
And as long as the governor says you can have digital meetings, if one commissioner wants to stay digital, then we need to be digital. And whatever the word is, but yeah, we need to do this because we had 157 positive cases the last 4 days. This is not going away. And after Christmas, it could be worse. So this is the future, and we might well go ahead and get set up for it.
I agree.
Second, second. You made the motion.
You gonna make the motion?
Yeah.
I've got a motion by Glover, and I got a second by Mr. Bowens. We're ready to vote? Question being called for. Commissioner Wade?
Aye.
Commissioner Stubblefield?
Aye.
Mr. Bowens?
Aye.
Commissioner Glover?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, so 5 ayes have it. So that'll hopefully get our juvenile courtroom up to snuff and look halfway presentable.
Do we have the temperature monitors over there too, like we do at this front door?
Yes, they do going into court, yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember whether we did or not.
Yes.
So this will be balanced budget amendment number 25 for 15,000, and I'll increase that revenue, that COVID revenue 47302
Yes, ma'am.
by this 15,000. That budget amendment require one reading.
All right, now I think we,
Commissioner Wade.
Commissioner Wade.
Keith, before we leave, I want to bring up something for y'all to be thinking about.
Okay.
I sat in on an economic development committee meeting several weeks ago, and one of the things that they has come to them from Montgomery and Cheatham counties, I think both of them have done it. It's whereby they're taking some of this COVID money and they're also approaching in the community and getting other funds from some other key places in the community. And they're putting out a grant program for small businesses to help some of these small businesses get through some of the crap that they're having to deal with. And I was real impressed with the program that Cheatham County and Montgomery County both had put in place. And I think Robertson County ought to be thinking about taking some of this money, and I'm talking maybe $200,000 to $300,000 of it, and put it into a grant program administered not by the county, but administered through the Chamber of Commerce. And and we don't fund anything. We don't give them a blank check or anything like that. But it's a real interesting program that they've got going in these other counties. And part of the funds, as I understood, come from the grants that they were receiving from federal and the state. So I just throw it out there. Margot knows a lot more about it than I do, and maybe she's already talked to the mayor and some of y'all already. But I would love to discuss it further.
I'll get with the mayor and I'll get with Margot and some other members of, we'll just see what we'll discuss it and look at it.
I appreciate it. Thank
Absolutely. Now, I've got one more thing on my agenda here is, during our solid waste, I had brought up the credit card fee situation, and I don't think I brought it to this committee. If I did, I apologize for that. But we got into looking at credit card fees, and of course, solid waste eats the credit card fees there. That's it's the only one we have doing that. Everywhere else you tack on a fee, and they're doing it for speed, as they say. But we had budgeted about $9,000, and they're going to come in probably a hair over 20,000, which is almost double. And I think that committee, was you there? The committee voted down. The committee voted down, leaving it the same. Is that correct? And just going to let solid waste kind of eat those fees. Is that what we're doing? Right. And I just wanted to make it aware. I brought it up to them, and they didn't move on it. And I'm not asking y'all to move on it, but I wanted y'all to be aware that that's the only place in the county we're not charging a convenience fee to use it, and we're seeing next year is going to be their line item on that is going to be double, and I've got a bit of an issue with that, but you know.
Why would they do that?
I'm going to let Commissioner Eden, I'm going to let him speak
Why
on
would
it.
they eat it when they're running behind anyway?
Well, we did it, Commissioner Stubblefield, because the second county, as people went across those scales, when they unloaded it, had to wait in turn to come back across the other scales because it was just so cumbersome. Now, I found out, Mr. Chairman, that the software is quite a bit different now than it was even a few years ago, where if we used a credit card, we were going to have to multiply out the percentage and add it to each one and go through. So there might be a way we can put it right on the card now without, and let them pay it without even going through that. But we did that, we got it, you voted for it, I'm pretty sure, at the county commission, where we got a resolution for it. And it was all done for speed. We have covered that cost twice through 2 price increases. When we raised our price, we considered covering that cost once, and then we forgot about it, and we did it again. And I'm being a little bit, but that's it. That's it. It was just for convenience and safety. Oh, by the way, we were broke into 3 times when we accumulated a few $100s, and they would steal that cash. So we were trying to get people to quit paying tax.
Use their cards.
I've had a commissioner come to me and tell me though, and I'm going to use whoever, just a commercial hauler that uses their credit card, goes through there and swipes that thing and racks up massive amount of travel points or cash rewards or whatever they're doing. And the county's paying for it because we're paying that transaction fee. So I think we need to look into seeing if this software can be modified for the speed of it. I don't want to slow the scales down, and if it's going to slow them down, then, you know, I think we need to revisit it because we started talking about doubling a line item in a budget, and
Well, in general sessions, of course, I'm talking about the clerk's office. It's $2.75 per transaction, and it's just immediate. It's not a.
Just no figure, just put that on.
Yeah, I mean,
$2.75, and.
Sure, we
why
can do
couldn't we
that.
just do a flat fee?
That's the way that,
And at
Donna
least you would
Searson
make part of
explained,
it.
so I mean, I think we need to look in and get the details on it.
well, Randy's not here.
I don't object, but the reason we did it, and we covered that cost twice.
That's correct.
When we said, instead of going up $1.80, let's go up $2 a couple times. But, you know, Keith, I do know you see that you're charged with balancing this budget, and I appreciate everything you say, so.
I don't want to slow the scales down. If there's a way to do it to where it's fast, I would love to look at it, but I'm not here to make their job any more difficult out there. I've just got to do, and I wanted to inform this committee because I had brought it up in front of y'all, and it was brought to my attention that I did not discuss it with this committee, and that's why I brought it up tonight.
Yeah, I don't think it's that big a deal. One of the big things is we've got 2-way scales now that we didn't have when we set this whole thing up.
Well, okay, I think it would be well if it was gonna do something. let's do it where it go into effect first of the year.
Yeah, I would really like to come from the committee though. I don't wanna, yeah. And of course, if y'all will bring it up and we need to get with Corey to make sure, one, it's doable on the software we have, and two, it's not gonna slow them down, which I think with two-way scales it shouldn't, but.
If, I never dreamed about charging a flat fee, but that would be a great idea. Just a flat
I
fee.
believe that's the way.
If you spend $25 or $200,
Yeah.
flat fee.
And I think it'll cover the cost.
You know, Lisa Kavanaugh could give it, I talked to Donna, but it needs to come from Lisa exactly.
Cause every time there's a credit card, she just puts that on there.
I think it's done automatically. I think that the way it's explained to me, that's just automatically, calculated when you put in whatever amount of fines and costs they're paying.
Sure, if I was a small businessman, I'd run everything I had through my credit card.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Well, that's all I've got. I do want to mention that tomorrow's Veterans Day, and if you know a veteran, thank them. If you don't, you need to enlarge your circle because there's too many of them out there, so.
And there's the dedication tomorrow of the new memorial.
Is it?
The Agent Orange. Oh,
Just a one real quick thing,
Yeah.
just trying to be transparent. As y'all remember probably years ago, when I come to hiring patrol deputies and such, we promoted everyone within from the sheriff's office that worked in corrections or another division. We started having so many opens in patrol, we could no longer fill those positions to take them all out of the corrections division. So we started looking for post-certified, those deputies that have already been to an academy somewhere, to come on board with us. We had always started them at step one, the very lowest of the pay scale. Of course, our job market has changed a lot. I'm competing in Springfield, Greenbrier, Coopertown, White House. They all changed where they're starting to hire people in based on their years of experience and being post-certified. So that put me behind the eight ball quite a bit trying to compete with them. I had to make a change this last month or so. We brought an individual on board and put him in. I can't bring him in to say he has 5 years experience. I can't bring him in making what a 5-year deputy's making. That's not fair to the people that's been loyal to us. But I can bring him in on the scale a little bit less than that and attract some of these people and try to fill these positions. I'm using that out of salary savings when I lose people. It's not encumbering any more money in the future for the county. It's all within that hourly salary savings. But what I've done, I've had a couple of people, positions that I brought on prior to making this decision. And I need to go back and fix those to keep the morale up and do the fair thing, and not lose them to one of these other agencies because they're mad that I just started doing something different. Now they're making less than somebody just started off the door. And I didn't compensate them, so. Like I said, it's no new money, no budget amendments, nothing like that. It's not encumbering any more money in the future, but we're just having to kind of think outside the box and use the resources that we have available to us to attract people that are already certified and already got experience. That saves me 3 months of training and about $11,000 sending someone to the academy. So I think we're coming out much better as a county doing that. Let you know what we're kind of having to do management wise.
Well, I appreciate you letting us know.
How salary budget changes.
Yes, it'll be all set up and finance like we're going to do.
Okay.
Mayor, you got anything? You're muted.
Can't hear you.
There we go.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, a lot of you guys are pretty good. You're texting me and you're emailing me and you're listening and talking. I don't really can multi. I'm just good. I do good get the mute off. I just want to tell everybody that with chat right now, I'm gonna try to have the meeting in the courtroom Monday night, and he's gonna be able to move the camera. He's gonna tell me for sure Thursday morning, but he's gonna be able to move the camera. But Angie will have to do roll call, just like we've been doing. So, you know, I'm glad y'all did that money. 'Cause I'm ready to move over because we just need more room and be more transparent. I want to wish everybody a good Veterans Day tomorrow, and appreciate the work you do.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Any more new business? Well, entertain a motion to adjourn. I've got a motion to adjourn. I got a second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Good night, everybody.